In this section, we want to start looking at solving polynomial equations. And in order to do that, we're going to make use of the zero product property. The zero product property tells us that if we have two values being multiplied together and their product is equal to 0, then either A is equal to 0 or B is equal to 0, or A and B are both equal to 0. We can make use of that idea to solve problems that we have in example 1, where here we have two different values being multiplied together. The first factor is x minus 8, and the second factor is negative 9x minus 10. So if we look at these two values as our A and our B, what we have is A times B is equal to 0, meaning we know that this will be true if A is equal to 0, meaning x minus 8 is equal to 0, or if B is equal to 0, meaning negative 9x minus 10 is equal to 0. The zero product property then gives us two different equations to solve in this case, which will lead us to two unique solutions. In the first case, we add 8 to both sides, which will give us x equals positive 8 as one solution. In the second case, we first add 10 to both sides, so we end up with negative 9x is equal to positive 10. Then we'll divide both sides by negative 9 to get x is equal to negative 10 over 9. What this is telling us is if x is equal to 8, then our expression A will be equal to 0. So we'll have 0 times B, which is equal to 0. Or if x is equal to negative 10 ninths, then expression B will be equal to 0, meaning we have A times 0 is equal to 0. So in either of these two cases, when x is equal to either 8 or negative 10 ninths, this equation will be equal to 0, and we have our two solutions. We can make use of that same idea in part B, where we have negative 9x minus 10 squared. Keep in mind that when we have a quantity squared, that just means that value times itself, or that expression times itself. So this is the same thing as negative 9x minus 10 times negative 9x minus 10 is equal to 0. In this case, those two expressions are exactly the same, so we only need to solve a single equation. Negative 9x minus 10 is equal to 0. Adding 10 to both sides will give us negative 9x is equal to positive 10, and we get, again, x is equal to negative 10 over 9. So in this case, we only have a single solution. X is equal to negative 10 ninths. But again, applying that zero product property, we just didn't need to solve this second equation, set equal to 0, because it would yield exactly the same result. In part C, we again have two factors being multiplied together. The first one is 2, and the second one is the expression negative 2x minus 3. So we'll take each of those factors, set equal to 0, and solve for x. The first expression gives us 2 is equal to 0, which is never true. There's nothing to solve. There's no variable. So that equation doesn't yield any solutions. But the second equation, negative 2x minus 3 is equal to 0, will give us negative 2x is equal to positive 3, and then dividing by negative 2 will give us x is equal to negative 3 halves. In this case, we set up two different equations, but only one yielded a solution. So there's only one solution to this problem, which is x is equal to negative 3 halves. In the last example that we have here, we again have two factors. One is 2x, and one is negative 7x plus 5. So we'll take 2x, set equal to 0, and negative 7x plus 5, set equal to 0, and solve both of those equations. In this case, 2x equals 0 yields x equals 0 as a solution after we divide both sides by 2. And the second equation will give us negative 7x is equal to negative 5. And then after dividing, we'll end up with x is equal to positive 5/7. So in this case, we again have two solutions, 0 and 5/7. When x is equal to either of those two values, then one of those factors will be equal to 0, meaning the product has to be 0.